Welcome to Happy Planner Meets Mixed Media. Creative Katie. That's me, Karen Burchill. New in this spread, using magazine pictures for the focal point. Using hole punch remains for bullets. And using jelly prints as a background for the quotes or embellishments. Take time to hit the subscribe button and you won't miss any planner videos or mixed media art journal videos. I admit I was really struggling with inspiration for this week's spread. And then I found this tulip. And then my tulips outside started blooming. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to use that in the spread. Previously, I have used gel medium to adhere small things down in my planner. So today I'm going to use gel medium to glue this down. Now, because Friday is Good Friday and Saturday and Sunday, it's kind of a holiday, and I really won't be with my planner, and I don't really need to plan anything for those days. I'm going to basically turn those squares into a mini poster using the magazine cutout. Now I cut this out with an X-Acto knife, but you can fussy cut it with scissors as well. So I got a few wrinkles in there, and you got to be careful because until the matte medium gel is completely dry, if you press on it with your finger, you can lift up some of the color from the picture, which is why you can use gel medium as an image transfer. So it wasn't bad. I did get some on the one side and it's kind of discolored, but overall I'm quite happy with it. It did kind of warp the page a bit because there's a little bit of moisture. So you have to decide if that's okay for you. I figure it's going to be in the book and all closed up, so I'm okay with that. So I'm going to stamp my numbers for my to-dos. At the top I always put my to-dos for household stuff, and the bottom I have my to-dos for my creative life. And I'm stamping this using Distress ink. Previously the stamp wasn't sticking to the acrylic block, so I cleaned it with soap and water and let it dry, and it's good as new, sticking again. Now, in one of the previous videos, I suggested going through all your stamps and find those little ones and start using them as bullets. So I found this little flower and I'm stamping it with one of the Distress ink purples. I find about 3 bullets is good for my video planning and everything that I need, so having more. So I went through my quote binder and I cut out the quote, "A flower does not think of competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms." So as I'm thinking about the ATC, and I have this jelly print that I picked out that kind of matches, I'm cutting out for the back of the ATC, and then I'm going to use some of this jelly print to back my quote on. I want the color. I thought about the idea of stenciling or coloring the background behind the tulips and that whole 3x3 rectangle there with Distress ink, and then I thought, nope, I'm just going to mount it on colored paper. Now I'm just gluing on another quote from my quote binder. I go through Pinterest, type them up while I'm watching TV someday, and then I print them off in several different fonts and sizes. And it's just perfect for things like this, ATCs, iCads, and smaller journal pages. And I'm just adhering that with gel medium as well. So I'm going to cut these apart. Now, usually I start with, um, wider than I'm going to need, and then you can always trim it down. Instead of gluing it down onto the strips and coloring, I could have cut the strips and all the same length with the cutter and then have done it. I'm really liking how that color behind the quote really makes the quote pop, and it adds a little bit of that purplish pink to the page. By the time I'm done, that jelly print is pretty much used up. Very little is remaining. And that's one of the great ways that I like using those jelly prints, because it allows you to personalize everything. Everything coordinates so perfectly. So I'm playing around a little bit with where I want things. And I'm thinking, okay, that's going to look good. Okay, now I'm going to make my dual purpose divider. I'm going to divide up the top row. I put my daily to-dos on the top, and on the bottom part I put my meal plan. And that's a system that I kind of fell into, and it's really working. And then since I'm dividing it up, I decided that I'm going to also hole punch it, and then I can use this as my water tracker. So I'm going to punch 4 holes on each one of these, and each hole stands for 2 cups of water. When I first started this, it really worked, and I was drinking more water, and I was feeling better, and everything was great. And then life got busy, and I stopped. So I'm hoping to renew that and really start tracking it again. So I'm just going to adhere all of this with my gel medium. I use the Liquitex brand. I have tried another brand, and I like the Liquitex one better. I like the matte finish that you get, because I with the matte one, and it just seems to work better. If you don't have matte medium, you could use a glue stick. I wouldn't recommend using Mod Podge or something that's very liquidy, because that's just going to soak into the papers, and you run the risk of getting it a little bit too wet, and it's going to warp. The paper can handle a little bit of wetness, just not a whole lot, so keep that in mind. As I said, I was really struggling for inspiration for this planner spread. I've never had that challenge up until this week, and but I just set it aside, did other things, and says, it'll come when it comes. And sure enough, it does. So these letters I cut out with my Silhouette. I was doing another project, and I had this quote left over, and I thought about coloring it, and then decided I'm just going to keep it white. I don't. I end up doing some doodling on it. I think most of that was off camera, so you're going to notice a difference from here to the end. I kind of like it better plain. Sometimes less is more. So seeing where I'm at, now usually I cover up the calendar in the corner because I don't find I use it. I use the monthly spread now that I'm decorating it. I have these dollar store flower 3D stickers, and I had some tulips and pansies in there, and because it's white with the purple center, I thought, you know what, I still have a little piece of this jelly print. I'm going to cut it to size and mount this flower on top, and The jelly print's going to go well with everything else, and it's going to frame that flower a little bit as well as block off the calendar behind it. So I decided that I am going to use the remains of the hole punch as bullets for my center row, which is usually I usually use this for planning some of my creative activities, either blog or some of my YouTube series. And I dug out this, I can't even remember what it's called, this little gadget that I got with my Silhouette tools, I believe. And I'm just putting some gel medium and then using that tool to move it from one place to another. So yay me! I used something that I had in my stash and I've never used it since the day I bought it, and that was 4 months ago. But I don't tend to do a whole lot of piddly little work. And I must say, it did actually help. For those of you who don't know, don't know that it's kind of sticky, and so it just picks up things easier. So I'm looking at the entire spread. I keep coming back to this to look, and I've got my ATC. Now I punch this with my arc punch, and when I'm done with the week, I take these out and I have 3 rings, and I am making an inspirational little book with all the ATCs that I make during the year with my planner. So I think with some of those books I may keep them, but I may also gift them to people. I'm using the Posca pen, the black right here, to just add some detail. Everything's better with a little bit of black. And as we've learned in the past, the Posca pens do not leak through the page, so that makes them great for the planner. You could even use them to write in. I would have liked to taken like this Stabilo. If this was on an art journal page, I would have used the Stabilo all pencil and traced around it and kind of shaded around it, the tulip. But I really didn't want to do that on the planner. So it kind of looks unfinished to me because I'm so used to doing that with pretty much everything, every focal image. But I'll get over it. Then I decide I need to do some dash work. I want to make this look a little separate from the rest of the planner. So I'm just using dashes with the purple Posca pen. Oh, I wish I could go that fast in real life. And then I'm going in with the black one and just putting dots in between. And just that little border sets it off. So here are some pictures of the finished spread. I really enjoyed working on this spread, and when you're stuck for inspiration, wait, give it some time. As soon as I saw those tulip that picture, that was the starting point. And once you have that inspiration, that initial inspiration, the rest of the page seems to work itself out as you go. So I hope you give these 3 new things, using a magazine as a focal image, using jelly prints to back quotes and embellishments, and using the hole punch remains for bullets. We'll see you for next week's Happy Planner Meets Mixed Media video. Thanks for watching. Please share this video with anyone you think would enjoy it.